to this Britain talk about how the U.S. may descend into civil war.
Demand that you use or say that you should do, then I would just feel conflict. In a sense, I wonder, this is a big question, and I would ask it of Great Britain too, or the United Kingdom, however you see it, what is the United Kingdom doing? What is the United States doing for you? How does it benefit you? The question would be, does the nation state exist to support the majority of its subjects or citizens or civilians, or does it exist as a framework to support the interests of big business while necessarily turning ordinary people against one another?
So there's Russell Brand trying to get the United States citizens to secede from the Union. So he just pointed out a poll, and if you just look at the damn numbers, you have Kim Iverson, and you have Russell Brand, and then you have Matthew McConaughey, who floated the idea that, just Republicans and Democrats, it looks like we're on the verge of a civil war. Some people say that we're just as divided as we were back in the 60s, so, we've been divided the whole time, and, here we still stand. So just because we have differences of opinions, that doesn't mean that all of a sudden everything has to descend into, bloodshed and chaos and war. We don't need war. War? We shouldn't be so goddamn flippant when it comes to war. Here is Kim Iverson asking the same question.
Very few Americans are thinking of a civil war. Is it really that fringe of a feeling? Well, according to a newly released poll from University of Virginia Center for Politics, a whopping 52% of Trump supporters and 41% of Biden supporters would favor a secession of red or blue states. And these are astonishing numbers. Nearly half the country would be okay with getting rid of the other half. There's been some crazy talk in the past.
Nearly half would be okay with getting rid of the other half? I don't understand why secession automatically equals civil war. So, first point is obvious. Well, actually, let's listen to Matthew McConaughey.
Here, I want to watch it, and then I'll come back and break it down and give you my agreements and disagreements.
Hell, I'd love to hear some definitions. I'm working on what I'm trying to understand politics to be. I think we got to redefine politics. If each party's only about preservation of party, well, I'm almost arguing that's undemocratic. If you're only there to, by hook or by crook, preserve your party, you're leaving out 50% of the people. So I think politics needs a redefining. Look, are the parties so extreme right now that they're going to walk their way into extinction? I don't know. What I fear is, great nations aren't taken over from the outside. They implode. Civil war. That's the big fear for me, for the country, is this path we're going.
I know a lot of people are concerned about.
So Matthew McConaughey makes actually a lot of points there. He talks about how we could implode, not necessarily a civil war. He's just saying, if the Democratic and the Republican Party are just sustaining themselves just to sustain themselves, just to sustain their, fat cat status, just to exist, if they are not actually, serving the public or the people, then eventually, the public will, be fed up, and there will be some shit that'll happen, but that's, bread riots and shit. That's not civil war. Okay. So, first of all, let's look at the numbers. Well, yeah, let's look at the numbers. Let's look at the fucking numbers that they're actually goddamn talking about in the study. They're pointing out that the study, Trump supporters versus Biden supporters, so Republicans and Democrats, essentially modern-day Republican and Democrats, the loyal Republicans, the loyal Democrats. So 52% of the butthurt Republicans, right, hasn't even been a goddamn year, 52% of the butthurt Republicans want to secede. So loyal Republicans are the majority, 52%. That did break a threshold. They want to secede. But that means 48% of the loyal Republicans don't want to secede. 48% of Trump supporters are opposed to secession. Now, 41% of loyal Democrats want to secede. 41%, that's not even close to being a goddamn majority. In terms of politics, that's almost 20%. That's nearly a blowout. So in terms of loyal Democrats, 59% are okay with America, U.S. of A, just as it is. That is not a majority. 59% is a majority. 59%, the vast majority of loyal Democrats are okay with America. So the vast majority of loyal Democrats are okay with America, and 48% of loyal Republicans are okay with America. So just 52%, that's, the alarming number. But just looking at the goddamn numbers, the majority of the people, like you heard Kim Iverson said, almost half, that's not half. That's not a majority. You need a majority to, crack that threshold. Now, let's listen to Russell Brand.
Civil war in America is something that's talked about a lot in online spaces, and this secession idea, I suppose, is a way to acknowledge without physical conflict or military conflict or whatever type of conflict that might be in this day and age. Tim Paul, when he was on the podcast, talked about that we're already in a phase of civil war in terms of contempt for both sides, and even the results of this survey suggest a degree of disparity and oppositionism that is a challenge to the idea of one country.
Wow, what a bunch of fucking nonsense. Okay, so 41% of loyal Democrats want us to secede 52% of butthurt Republicans. So the conclusion is Democrats are okay with America, and the slight majority of Republicans are not okay with America. And they're talking about secession. Secession. Why does secession automatically equal civil war? I know that's, 19th century shit. Back in the 19th century, right, when they want to secede over goddamn slavery. Well, that's some dumb shit. That's some bullshit, right? No, you stay with the goddamn family, motherfucker, over slavery. No, you're wrong. You need to, realize you're fucking wrong, you stupid motherfucker, and get back in line. Get back into the family. There is a lot of benefits to the Union, but I just don't understand why secession automatically equals civil war. You've had lots of nation-states that, nation-states, civilizations, empires, they come and go. They come and go. You've had, how many empires, right? You've had the Roman Empire. You had the whatever empire, another empire, and this empire, and that empire. So, So to me, secession doesn't equal civil war. You had the Velvet Divorce. You had the Soviet Union. You had Yugoslavia, right? And there's, Belarus, Estonia, Ukraine. So, it can be messy, but let's take a look at the Velvet Divorce. The Velvet Divorce is Czechoslovakia. So Czechoslovakia had a Velvet Revolution. They're not Czechoslovakia anymore. You got the Czech Republic and you got the Slovak Republic, or Slovakia. So you got Czechs and Slovaks. And they're, in two different nations. And it worked. It was okay. They used to be one nation. Then they had, political disagreements. And now they got two nations. No big fucking deal. Whippity, skippity, dippity doo. Who gives a shit? In fact, that's how divorces are supposed to work. Could you imagine if modern day divorces, if they said, well, there's going to be a divorce. Well, you can't do it. You could just, use violence to force a union together, whether or not, that's some 19th century shit. That's some 19th century shit. You'll love me forever, whether you like it or not. No, motherfucker. If Alabama wants to secede from the Union, go ahead, Alabama, sayonara. Charge your tariffs and your tolls and do what the fuck you want to do. I don't give a fuck. I wasn't never going to go to Alabama to begin with. You just have to stay in Alabama forever. So Civil War. Holy shit, Civil War? I don't give a shit about being in a union with Mississippi or Alabama. In some respects, California is a bit too conservative for me, but I'm not going to fight a civil war over red and blue states. If anything, I like that it's divided like that, red and blue states. If you don't like the Republican or the Democrat, then go to the one that you do like. And in terms of how America's supposed to be, the U.S. states are supposed to be laboratories of democracy. They're supposed to be experimental. The states experiment, and then the country gets behind the good ideas. So that's what the American states are supposed to be. We're supposed to be different. So there's some conservative, some liberal states. Guess what? That's all of goddamn history. There's been a liberal versus conservative. Some people want to change things. Some people want to keep it the same. Some people are more about the community. Some people are more about themselves. Some people have, bleeding hearts, and other people have common sense when it comes to, fiscal responsibility. So red versus blue, I could kind of see it, but, let it be. Let it be. I don't see why red versus blue has to turn into a war. Let's have a red America. Let's have a blue America. I'm fine with how it is, but if people want to push the goddamn issue, essentially, my Civil War dividing lines would be the marijuana states, the freedom versus the slave states. That's my dividing line. So the freedom states, the people that say I have a right to my own body when it comes to marijuana, the rest of the fucking states are goddamn basically, stuck not just in the 19th century, they're stuck in the Bronze Age. They're, they haven't even got to the Iron Age yet, or the Bronze is after the, they haven't even got to the Gold Age. Wait. What are we talking about? Okay, so my Civil War dividing lines is marijuana. I think that marijuana is the vanguard issue, which can change everything. We can get the progressive wonderland. We could get the eternal Woodstock that I dream of in, blue states. Wait, what? In marijuana states. And a lot of the marijuana states are blue states. So there's better democracy, say here in Colorado. There's better democracy here. So let's listen to Kyle Kalinske is going to break this down a little bit.
Required, and you can't have a political situation that is so judgmental and condemnatory of the other 50% of people of whatever side. Once contempt enters the argument, I think you're in real trouble. Compassion and love for people you disagree with is sort of fundamental, I feel.
It's not constructive. I don't see the way out right now through politics, right, unless it redefines itself and repurposes itself.
Why are you not doing that? Letting anybody know who you're for, who you're against?
Taking sides on a political issue right now, to me, precedes the discussion of something larger and much more important, like the question we were asking a minute ago. Definition is, what the hell is politics? But you got to read before we start saying, hey, this is where I stand, this is where I stand, which creates already a divide of some 50% of the people that come at you. Let's answer these other questions about purpose of democracy. All right, what is progress? How about this question? Do we really want to be a United States of America? And I don't say that with arrogance or condescension. It's a question we got to answer. What is leadership? Why is our nation's trust level so low with our leaders, with ourselves, with each other? That's more interesting to me before we start hopping in the middle of politics going, well, this is where I stand here and this is where I stand here. Everybody needs to be in the conversation to answer the questions that I was just bringing up.
So does America need a divorce? Would all the nations in the world benefit from devolution? Is it a fact that the reason to concentrate central power at the level of state government is in order to create relationships with transnational global corporations in order to treat the population of that nation state primarily as a marketplace and prevent there being any real democratic process? Because that real democracy would prevent those relationships without interruption. So,
Kyle Kalinske, where you at, motherfucker?
What would it take for
Matthew McConaughey was saying, are the parties so extreme right now that they're going to...
Still using aluminum-based antiperspirant? That's why your shirt looks like a diaper. Ditch the unhealthy ingredients that don't work.
And walk their way into extinction. And then he brings up Civil War.
I'd rather unite the Americas. I'd rather unite the Americas by referendum. I'd rather Chile and Brazil and Argentina. I would love to drive to Bolivia. There's lots of benefits to the United States of America being united. For right now, I'm in favor of the United States being the United States of America. Secession, if Colorado wants to secede, I would support the marijuana states, like I said. So, but that's such a far-fetched idea. You have to get. There's been a secessionist movement, in Texas, California, Alaska for a long ass time, and they haven't even came close to, getting it accomplished. So to think that it's going to turn into a crazy ass bloodshed, like I said, my dividing issue is marijuana, and I never really heard anybody else say that. It's just that, I don't know, growing up before marijuana legalization, that's my one vice. That's my one vice. And I don't like riding dirty or whatever, so it's just such an important issue to me. And it's not, any of the hard shit, so the hypocrisy, it's just, America makes sense now. Or it's making more sense. It's also the final frontier, right? What other freedoms does America need to tackle? And for the rest of the world, I think we could win them over by, our awesomeness and not by our guns. But, yeah, so I would go the opposite direction. I am in favor of the United States of America. The questions that McConaughey is asking is very, we don't trust our institutions. We're not trusting each other. There is some fundamental shit that's broken, but we're, America. We're a fucking democracy. We're republic. We work, we fix our shit. We fucking, what the fuck? Jesus Christ. Could you imagine the goddamn, fucking revolutionaries or even the, Union and Abraham Lincoln just, crying about this? Oh my God, what happens if, if it comes to motherfucking civil war over slavery? If they're going to be on some dumb shit, then fuck that shit. But if they just say they want to be their own country for whatever goddamn reason, C'est la motherfucking V, you know? If anything, you know, that'll probably breed contempt from me. What, you want to be your own nation? Goddamn Maine? Fine. Fine. You can monopolize the fucking lobster market. I don't give a shit. So I'd rather unite the Americas. Keep America. Unite the other, you know, American countries. Have 100 states, not, you know, 20 states. I don't want devolution. I don't want less states. I want more states. I want, you know, America to be so fucking cool that South America just willingly says, hell fucking yeah. Get us some interstates here. Get us some, you know, interstates. and the other, you know, great things that the great stuff that America, so yeah, that's my, you know, that's my position for right now. Kyle Kalinske.
Here's the thing that I fear. Here's the thing about claims that we may have a civil war in the U.S. We have way, way, way too many phenomenal distractions to ever get us to the point in the modern day and age where there's a civil war.
Right.
I have no doubt that there's some percentage of people, small though albeit, on both sides that are like, hell yeah, like we should have that. But then you go, ooh, there's a new show out on Netflix and it looks phenomenal. Let's take a look. Ooh, my favorite streamer on Twitch is doing X, Y, or Z. I gotta go take a look. Ooh, a new YouTube video just dropped. I should check this out. And the list goes on and on. I really do believe that with modern technology, it has this ability to pacify us. Now, some people might say, well, that's a terrible thing because you become more disengaged in a variety of ways, and other people might say, well, it's a phenomenal thing because you want to avoid the worst.
Mostly coming from places like Texas about seceding from the Union, but it's never been taken too seriously. But the political division has been increasing at such a rapid pace over the past several years that now many people on both sides seem very open to just splitting the country in two. Andrew Yang, who is starting a third party called the Forward Party with the slogan, not left, not right, but forward, tweeted a Turchin and Goldstone poll released about a year ago showcasing how the political division today is higher than it was right before the Civil War. Now, I don't think we really need a poll to tell us the tension is high, very high. I mean, many of us have family members who will not speak to us for one political reason or another. Political division today isn't just about a difference in ideas. The division is about morals. One group believes the other is evil or destructive in some way and must be stopped. And apparently, if they can't be stopped, then maybe it's best to just cut them out in the same way many are cutting their own family members out. On top of this deep resentment many are feeling for people on the other side of the aisle, there is a growing resentment against the country itself and the history of the country. People don't seem to love America as much as they once did, and the lack of united feeling could lead us one step closer to dividing up the nation.
Worst case scenario, which would be some sort of a potential civil war. But I would say I think it is a massive, massive reach in today's day and age that there would be a civil war in the United States of America. The thing that people should fear is basically the new Cold War, the ramping up of tensions with China, for example. There's an issue going on with Taiwan.
We shouldn't fear civil war. We should fear China.
I
What the hell is China up to?
Redefining. Look, now the party's so extreme right.
Okay, Matthew McConaughey. He's I don't know. He could become governor, and he's got his own independent viewpoints. So we should pay attention to Matthew McConaughey. And let's, Civil War. Did that work last time? Oh, I guess it was kind of a cleansing. It is a holy war. It was revolutionary. It changed the whole goddamn game. Captain Bill Strong was in Breathitt County, Kentucky. Kicking ass, taking names. So, R.I.P. Bill Strong. All right.